All right, can everyone see my screen okay? Cool. All right, one moment. Oh no, I can't see my own screen, sorry. Okay. All right. So I have been a fellow this year at the Santa Monica Mountains Fire Safe Council. We are located in Los Angeles County. And yeah, like Cindy said, I'm from Ohio originally, so I moved out to Los Angeles for this fellowship. So I got to learn a lot about the natural environment and the community and just seeing it through a lot of different stages. So yeah. All right. Okay. So first I want to talk a little bit about our organization itself. So we're brand new, or it started, Danielle and Pauline, the amazing directors of the organization, started a couple years ago together. And our funding's come into action for the first year this year. So really starting from the foundation and coming straight out of college, this is a super cool learning experience. There's a lot that goes into a brand new organization. There's a lot that we worked on together. And I feel like I learned so much about the inner workings of, businesses in general, and especially a community organization. So a couple of different pillars that we worked on was technology. I helped a lot with this. I helped with our social media and website a lot, which I realized I loved a lot. And then my other fellow Kira worked a lot in our graphic design. And then beyond that, there's the budget and then document outlines and all just those foundational things. And then marketing, establishing a brand and knowing um, who we want to market ourselves as and to continue to raise awareness of who we are to the community. Funding, grant establishment, disbursement, took a little bit of time, but definitely showed how grants happen in the stages for that and all the different things that go into that. Community, establishing community relationships and building trust with those community members. Then programming, defining what programs were most important and which ones we want to prioritize and building the content for all those different workshops and whatnot. And then just a little bit about us. This is our region. So the Cinnamon Mountains I wasn't really familiar with, and they're very beautiful, chaparral, oak woodland. They're right on the edge of Los Angeles and Santa Monica, which is over here, and they go up into here, which is the wildland urban interface. There's a lot of residents who live who live within Santa Monica Mountains, and we work a lot in these main areas. So. Yeah, and then our mission is to promote wildfire safety and community resilience in the Santa Monica Mountains. And then kind of results for our foundational work, we have a social media that I've run, which has been super fun. We have 71 followers, so that was, we got a few more every week, which felt great. And then we have our website, and then we have some exciting workshops that we've done and that are going to happen soon. And we've also established a really good network. We have over 100 people subscribed to our newsletter, and we send that out monthly. And yeah, we've been able to put a lot of trainings and just meet with a lot of people and become more established. Here's some highlights. Here's us, my team at a work day we did last month in Topanga. That was really successful. Some tabling events we've done. And then on the right, we made one really wonderful partnership with the Malibu Forestry Unit, specifically the main forester, Rob. He grows native plants, and they have a demonstration site there that shows a fire-safe home and garden. So we've been able to hold an event there and meetings there, and we're there pretty often. It's really wonderful. It's beautiful, and we learn a lot, and it's wonderful to see that relationship continue to blossom. And then beyond that, my year, I learned so much just throughout the typical things that we would do as a fellow. And then something unexpected was the 2025 fires in Los Angeles. So we did be talking a little bit about the impact of that and how our organization navigated through that. So in January 2025, the Palisades Fire and Eaton Fire began in Los Angeles County. Combined, these fires burned almost 40,000 acres, took thousands of homes, and the Palisades fire lasted 24 days. So beginning in early January, it went into late January. And as someone, I felt very novel in this experience in many ways, working in fire for the first time ever, and also coming from an area where fire was um, non-existent. I was experiencing it as a resident or a citizen as the first time too. And Also as a AmeriCorps member, I was able to kind of transition in helping with relief work with the local YMCA. So that was kind of an interesting thing that I didn't expect either. So um, it was very interesting. It was obviously it's very devastating for the people and for the landscape. And this was something very unexpected, especially a fire this large in this area. The first year I've been here working in fire was something that was a big learning curve, but definitely made me more passionate for what I do. And it was a wonderful learning experience of seeing how a disaster like that immediately affects people and the aftermath. And then the emotional impact. This was something you see in the moment, and you also see in the coming months. Residents, homeowners, and bystanders were all very impacted by this event. It was on national news, and people are really looking at Los Angeles and seeing how we reacted. And there were so many first responders sacrificing their life and their time for um, to these fires. And beyond that, property loss, fear, personal impact, displacement, and then climate anxiety were all on top of people's minds and still are for many people. Um, it's very overwhelming, and each person had to process it individually. And this is an ongoing feeling that will continue to pop up as disasters become more common. It's also very interesting to see because Los Angeles is always one of the major cities in the US, and that fire got a lot of attention, but there's fires all throughout the West in the country, the North Carolina fires, the ones in Northern California this year. So it's something that will continue to be a problem, or that we'll continue to see. Um, it's wonderful to see how other organizations and my organization is learning to react and to prevent as these are becoming more common. But I don't know if silver lining is the right term, but kind of a new perspective for things that have come out of the fires happening in our service area is a bit of a change to the public perception of fire. First off is urgency. The Palisades Fire was one of the most urban spanning fires in the West in recent history. This caused people to recognize the importance of action now because anyone is at risk. You know, it's right up into the urban areas, people in fully urban areas are being evacuated. And that was a really unique situation. And also, still driving to work now, the PCH is back open, but I'm driving directly through the areas that were destroyed. It's a very unique experience, but I think it's shown people, I mean, it's right there under where they live, you know, it's right in the city, and it's shown people the urgency of these climate disasters. And kind of off of that, people are understanding things they can do to maybe prevent it or to protect themselves. And one of those things is home hardening. This is what we talk about a lot. It's how to make your home more resistant and resilient. Um, a couple of homes from the Eaton Palisades fire stood standing after others were burned down, and a lot of those reasons is because of fire resiliency, and those homes were built very well, and they had very little um, spaces for embers to enter the home or burn down the home or any vegetation around. And that kind of proved the science that we tell people. Organizations definitely, there's a lot of different opinions and methods, but the advice we give people is almost fully off of science. And that kind of is a way for us to back it in the future is to show that these things that you can do, it might not be 100%, but there are ways that you can um, protect your home and feel more in control. And then, kind of on that as well, ecosystem health. Those people that reside in those areas, one of the reasons they love living there is because of the beautiful landscape and topography, but then that does make it more dangerous. And separate from the structure destruction, the land was impacted as well. A lot was burned, and a lot of ecosystem and wildlife was ruined. So people are more receptive to ways we can protect that, which might be prescribed burns or restoration or forest management. And lastly, it's community effort. We often hear it's not my house that's the problem, it's my neighbors, which might be true, but to solve this, the community has to work together. And this is something we've seen in recent projects. Communities are banding together when they see a problem in their community, because even if it's a whole area, to get it done, you have to come together. So that's been something really wonderful we're seeing that we can help facilitate as well. So a little bit more on that momentum. Over the past, I guess it's been about 6 months now, we've seen a lot more interest, and we're hearing a lot more personal stories, which are heartbreaking but also very motivating. So one thing that we preach is home hardening. Um, we see this as the most important thing to do. So we have more interest in home ignition zone evaluations, which is where we help residents understand what they can do to their home to make it more resilient. There's new codes and proof of effectiveness of different hardening strategies and things of that such. And then it's also, like I said earlier, backing the science behind home hardening and us using that as our main argument or our main way to suggest things to people. It's all recommendations, and we're a non-regulatory agency, but in the future, regulatory agencies will come in. So we're just trying to give the best advice we can to keep people safe. On that as well, defensible space, which is the area that surrounds your home. There's new zone zero regulations, which research has shown that 0 to 5 feet is the most important area to protect after home hardening. So there's new regulations coming out, which are a little bit controversial, but at the same time, it will show people the importance of keeping that area clear. Vegetation management, just keeping your plants really healthy. And again, native plant promotion is something that we've heard a lot more. People are understanding that there are plants that are more fire resilient, and creating a healthy native ecosystem is really important. Um, Funding as well, in a time where funding is decreasing a lot across the US. The state is dedicating a lot of funds to local fire efforts. We have a 5-year grant from CAL FIRE, and we're now in another grant cycle, trying to get more money for the future. And there's a lot of state funding, which is something to be grateful for. And community donations, people again understand the urgency of the situation and are donating to get work done in their own communities, which is really wonderful. And ecosystem health. There's more acceptance and talk of prescribed burns. There's a new Los Angeles Prescribed Burn Association, and my whole team has gone and prescribed burns before. The Ventura Prescribed Burn Association is pretty active. So this is something that's slowly entering Los Angeles County, and it'll be interesting to see how it continues to grow. And then oak health and oak woodland promotion. This is very important. They're very ember resistant oak trees, and it's a great way to create fuel breaks and to promote a healthy environment. And then, like I said earlier, native plants as well, promoting native plantings and promoting healthy vegetation as well. And yeah, that's kind of it for me. Am also staying on with my organization for next year. I'll be joining their full-time team as a fire safety liaison, and I'm really excited to continue learning. I've learned so much about the Chaparral ecosystem, about the fire world, about community engagement, and my team. Thank you to Pauline, Danielle, and Kira for such a wonderful year. And yeah, I'm excited to see the work that we continue to do. It's been so much fun. And that's kind of it for me. But if anyone has any questions, please let me know.